everyone, and welcome to another video of mathematics, and these videos are all geared towards helping you to be better prepared for your exam, whether it be this year, next year, or years to come. And today we are continuing our series with the very beautiful, absolutely beautiful algebra, and we'll be continuing with algebraic fractions. Last time we looked at addition and subtraction, and of course this time we have to look at multiplication and division. So let's head straight into it. So at the end of this video, you should be able to multiply and divide algebraic fractions and simplify algebraic fractions after multiplication and division. Of course, let's start off with a recap. Let's say we have 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 4. So multiplying fraction should be everybody's favorite thing to do. Because when you're multiplying fractions, all you do, you multiply the numerator by the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. And if you can simplify, you simplify. Simply put, you multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So let's look at this example. 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 4. This will be 1 times 1 will give you 1. And 2 times 4 would give you 8. Next example, 3 over 4 divided by 5 over 6. We have to 1, change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and 2, flip the divisor fraction, upturn it. So 3 over 4 divided by 5 over 6, this will be 3 over 4 multiplied by, and we flip this fraction, we flip the divisor fraction, multiplied by 6 over 5. And just like with multiplication, multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So 3 times 6 would be 18, divided by 4 times 5 would be 20. And we cannot leave 18 over 20, we have to reduce it. It's a mathematical sin if we don't reduce it. So we find a number that can divide both 18 and 20. So 18 divided by 2 would give you 9, and 20 divided by 2 would give you 10. So when we break this down, we'll have 9 over 10. And when we are dealing with algebraic fractions, you guessed it, the same rules will apply. When you're multiplying, you multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. When you're dividing, you flip and you change the division to multiplication. And that is the beauty about mathematics. The same rules apply across the board. So let's head into some examples. So we want to write as a single fraction. So number 1, 3x over 4 multiplied by 5 over 2x. Top by the top, bottom by the bottom. So let's go. 3x times 5 would be 3 times 5 is 15. So this will be 15x all divided by 4 times 2x. So 4 times 2 is 8. And this will give you 8x. So we cannot leave this as it is. We have to break it down. So this x will cancel out with that x. And 8 can go into 15, so we can leave this as 15 over 8. And if you want, you can write it as a mixed fraction, but we can leave it as 15 over 8 for now. Let's look at another example. Let's say we have 2a over 3b multiplied by 9b over 4a. So let's work it like that. Let's do some cancelling out so we can have a variety of approaches to these kind of questions. So when you're cancelling out, you can always cancel out when you're multiplying throughout. You can cancel out any top by any bottom. Doesn't matter if it's these two, or these two, or these two, and these two. Any top with any bottom can cancel out when you're multiplying. So let's do some cancelling out to make our work easier. So this a will cancel out with this a, this b will cancel out with this b, and 2 can go into the 4. So 2 ones 2. 4 divided by 2 would be 2. And 3 ones 3. And 3 into 9 would be 3. So we're left with 1 times 3 would be 3. Over 1 times 2 would be 2. And that would be the answer. And that is what we can do if we cancel out. But let's say we did not cancel out and we work it just as it is. So we have 2a over 3b multiplied by 9b over 4a. So we multiply the top by the top. So 2 times 9 would be 18. A times B would be AB. All divided by 3 times 4 would be 12. And A times B would be AB as well. And then we do some cancelling out right here. So this B will cancel out with that B. This A will cancel out with that A. And we see what can go into 18 and 12. We see 6 can go into 18 and 12. So 18 divided by 6 would be 3. And 12 divided by 6 would be 2. So the answer is 3 over 2 as the answer. And that's how we work with algebraic fractions. So let's take things up a bit. Let's say we had 7x squared all divided by 5 multiplied by 2y over 3. Of course, we multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So we'll have 7x squared times 2y, 7 2's 14. X squared times y would simply give you x squared y all divided by 5 times 3 would be 15. And there's nothing to break down, so we leave that as our answer. 14x squared y all over 15. So let's do another one for multiplication. Let's say we had negative 5a squared all over 3. And all of this is raised to the second power. So we know when something is raised to a power, in this case the second power, whatever is being raised to that power will multiply by itself 2 times in this case. So this will be negative 5a over 3, negative 5a squared over 3, multiplied by negative 5a squared over 3. So this will be negative times a negative will of course give you a positive. And then 5 times 5 would be 25. And a squared times a squared would be a to the 4th power. And all of this would be over 3 times 3 would be 9. So you have 25a to the 4th power, all divided by 9 when we square that term in that bracket. And that is all there is to multiplying algebraic fractions. You just have to multiply the top by the top, the bottom by the bottom, and you simplify whenever you have to. So let's look at some division. Let's say we have 3x squared divided by 4y divided by 6x over 5y squared. Now we are dividing these two algebraic fractions. So step 1, we change the division to a multiplication, and then we flip the divisor fraction. So this will now become 3x squared over 4y multiplied by 5y squared all divided by 6x. So we change the division to a multiplication and we flip the fractions. And the same rules will apply in terms of multiplication now. So we multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So of course we can see if we can cancel out to make our work easy to multiply. So I'll work it both ways. So let me write it back so I know I have to work it both ways. So we'll have 3x squared over 4y multiplied by 5y squared over 6x. So let's do some cancel out on this side and then we'll just multiply throughout. So let's cancel out. So this x will cancel out with one of this x. This y as well will cancel out with one of this y. And 3 1's 3. 6 divided by 3 will be 2. So we'll have with x times 5y, that would give you 5xy over 4 times 2 would be 8. So our answer, when we finish simplifying right here, and we multiply, we'll have 5xy all over 8. So let's do the other thing now. Let's multiply and then simplify. So we have 3x squared multiplied by 5y squared. So 5 times 3 would be 15. And x squared times y squared would be x squared y squared all divided by 4 times 6 would be 24. And x times y would be xy. And now we want to simplify this fraction. So we have 15x squared, y squared, all divided by 24xy. So we know this y will cancel out with one of these y. X cancel out with one of the x squared. So 15 over 24. We know 3 can divide both 15 and 24. So 15 divided by 3 would give you 5. And 24 divided by 3 would give you 8. So this will simplify to 5x y over 8. And that is how you simplify that fraction. Let's look at another example. So let's say we have 3 over x plus 1 divided by x over y plus 1. And we want to simplify this. So of course, we have to change the division to a multiplication and we flip the divisor fraction. So this will be 3 over x plus 1 multiplied by y plus 1 all over x. And then we multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. So the top piece will have 3 multiplied by y plus 1 all over x multiplied by x plus 1. So 3 times y would be 3y. And 3 times 1 would be 3. So this would be plus 3. All divided by x times x would be x squared. And x times 1 would be plus x. So when we simplify this and write this as a single fraction, we'll have 3y plus 3 all divided by x squared plus x. And that is how you simplify and write this as a single fraction. So of course, I'll leave one for you to try on your own. So the one that you'll try on your own would be 3x over 5 multiplied by 10 over x squared divided by 6 over x. And this is one you can try on your own to make sure that you have a solid understanding of algebraic fractions. And with that being said, it has brought us to the end of this video, and I trust that you are now in a more comfortable position to work with algebraic fractions. Remember, the same rules that you use for normal fractions will apply to algebraic fractions. So when you're adding, you check to make sure the denominators are the same. And if they are the same, you put back the denominator and you work accordingly. If they are not the same, you find the LCM and then you work accordingly. And when you're multiplying, you multiply the top by the top, the bottom by the bottom. And when you're dividing, you change the division sign to a multiplication sign and you flip the divisor fraction. And then you just simplify accordingly. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care.